Hello. Hello. Watching. Oh, they're gone. Hello, Rudy. How you doing? Good. That's good. Hey, Darian. How you doing? Hey. I'm doing all right. Hey, Darian. I'm doing all right. Seeing your face puts a smile on my face. Oh, thanks. That's good. Three people are watching now. What you doing? I'm just hanging out. Hey, Rudy. Their Lingo Ignata album's really good, by the way. Oh, by the way, I meant to show you guys. I got a new phone case. This is the guy I love the episode most in the release this week. Thanks. Sick case. Thanks. Hey, Simon. How are you doing? Good. What about you? I'm doing good. Ever listen to Tool? Yeah, Tool's great. I actually have Lateralis on CD. That's my favorite album by him. But Anema's really good too. And then is there one that came out like in 2009 or something? I'm trying to remember the name of that one. 10,000 Days. 2006, my bad. That one's pretty good too. Their worst, easily in my opinion, though, is Fear Inoculum, that their new one. But the packaging for it is like some of the coolest packaging I've ever seen. I don't know if you ever seen the packaging for their Fear Inoculum album. I mean, the album, I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's pretty disappointing considering how good they are. Because the album wasn't that great in my eyes. It was okay, but yeah, the new one, yeah, it is really boring. It is. It's pretty boring. But there were some songs I liked off of it though, like especially the last one. The last one I thought was pretty good. But the packaging for it is really cool though. So the packaging, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like has this little TV inside of it, and it like plays a video on it. And the artwork is really good too. Like Tool actually has some really good artwork in their in their releases. Like there's a lot of groups, in my opinion, that have really cool artwork, and Tool's one of them. But some other ones that come to mind are like Nine Inch Nails and let's see, Swans. Kraftwerk has some really good packaging too. Let me think what else. Other ones. King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard has some pretty good packaging. So does Lingua Ignata too, actually. She has some really good packaging on her records. And I think some other ones. Any over here that kind of mind? I don't know. Those are just some I think have good packaging in my opinion. They spending more time making cool album packaging than making a memorable album. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. But there's probably some people that didn't like the record who got the CD anyway, just because the packaging is so cool. The packaging for it is so freaking cool. The packaging, like it might be the coolest packaging I've ever seen for a release, in my opinion. Favorite track from Anima? Let's see. Probably the title track. Probably that one. If I had to say. Like the learn to swim, learn to swim, learn to swim. I think that's probably the title track. But Anima's probably my second favorite they did. My favorite's the Lateralis, and the title track and the Lateralis is probably my favorite. Stink Fist is really good too, and let's see. Third Eye is a really good song too. Actually, that one might be my favorite. Actually, is Third Eye. That's a really good song, actually. I don't know. It's probably in the title track or Third Eye, probably. Eulogy and the title track are good. Yeah. And Tool wasn't on streaming for a really long time. Sound honest agreed. There's like a lot of people say that Tool's fan base is like made up of a bunch of like neckbeards or something. Like people say that Tool has a really cringy fan base. I've heard that. Like the fedora wearing whatever. I don't know. If they are, I don't care. But I think like the vocalist is kind of an asshole though. Like I remember and the thing is, I don't really like Justin Bieber that much, but I remember Justin Bieber said something like that he really loves Tool or whatever, and that they said posted some things about him being a Tool fan or whatever, and the vocalist of the group said, "We don't want you as our fan," and I'm like, Jesus, man, like you can dislike someone's music, but like, can you imagine how much that must hurt? You know, if you're a fan of someone's music and then they just publicly say they don't want you liking their music, that's just fucking shitty, I think. But then also one of the other members of the group said, we welcome you as a fan. We don't care if you like our music. Like, we're fine with that. But yeah, he's kind of an asshole, I think. I might go. I want to spend time with myself. That really annoyed me tonight. Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't anything about me, by the way, guys. It was I was talking about how one of my exes treated me, and it bothered her. I just kind of got in a conversation about like something my ex did. That was how my ex treated me really badly, and I mentioned it to her, and she didn't like hearing that. But okay, I'll talk to you in the morning. Okay, I love you. Hope you have a good night. Maynard, vocalist, hates Tool fans. He just distanced himself from the group and focused on other projects. He went for a lawsuit, too, that lasted over a decade, hence why it took so long. Yeah, Maynard's a freaking asshole, I think. He's a good vocalist, but he's a fucking asshole. Love you, too. All right, sleep well. Yeah, that must really suck if you hate your own fans. That's freaking shitty, I think. Just know I'm always. Oh, I just watched Django Unchained. Yeah, that's a pretty good movie. It's a pretty good movie. I just know I'm always here for you if you ever need anything. I'll be same for you. See, well, I think it's a bit pretentious, but he never seemed like an asshole to me. He usually just trolls like with the Beebs thing. I don't know. I personally just think he's kind of an. I don't know. I just really don't like people like that. Like, I think like trying to remember his name, the vocalist of Black Flag, just the way he is in interviews. I'm trying to remember Henry Rollins. Yeah. I just think he's kind of an asshole when it comes to. I think I heard he really doesn't like being interviewed or something. He's just an asshole to all these people to interview him. And I don't know if you ever seen this one thing, but one group that I really like, but I can't stand one of the members in the group. I just think this person just such a freaking ass, just a really bad person. I don't know, just like an asshole. Is one of the members of a lot of the members of Sonic Youth actually are just a bunch of freaking pricks, except for the one lady in it. But I remember I watched this video of Nardwuar interviewing them, and they were just freaking little pieces of shit. They were like breaking the stuff he had and all this stuff, and they were basically like picking on him and bullying him and all this stuff. And he gave him like he gives them gifts, like he usually does, but he broke them. They broke them, and then he lost his cool and changed characters and said, "You idiot! I gave that to you as a gift." And then they all gathered around him and like started beating him or something. They're just freaking pieces of shit. And then also the one girl in the group was actually the wife of one of the members, and they divorced. But then the lady found out later that he was having an affair that he never told her about. He's just a fucking piece of shit. I'll talk to you later if you want after the live stream. That sounds good. No way. Yeah, the Sonic Youth is very talented group, very talented members. They're definitely one of the most one of the greatest alternative rock and noise rock groups of all time. But just these freaking members are freaking assholes. And I guess there's also obvious ones, like obviously Varg Vikernes of Burzum. He's a really talented musician, but an awful person. But you already know that because he's a literal terrorist. He's a murderer, and he's a racist neo-Nazi piece of shit. So I heard Sonic Youth was pretty shitty to them. I don't think I saw it, but that is awful. I don't get why you would be a dick to Nardwuar of all people. I think it's just because I don't know. It's just because of his character, I guess, the way he talks. But I remember there was one thing. There was a Blur, I think, was interviewing them, and it was the drummer, the one bald one. He was like, when they were interviewing him, he was like standing in his face and going like following him around with his head to his face like the entire time. And he didn't really break character, but he was just doing that the entire time, almost like picking on him. Then he eventually left, but I heard that he eventually like confronted Nardwuar or sent him a message and apologized for his behavior and said it wasn't right that he did that. Oh yeah, I just mentioned that. I just wanted to mention the Blur interview. He later apologized. Yeah. There was one thing, the Henry Rollins one wasn't really that bad, but I think Henry Rollins was kind of rude, but it wasn't like that bad. Like it just seemed like he was kind of annoyed during the interview, but he didn't do anything that bad. And then I think I remember he interviewed Slipknot, and Chris Fenn walked out while being interviewed or something, which was kind of rude, but. And I think he called Beck one time, but I think Beck might have just been trying to sleep or something because it sounded kind of out of character. Because I've heard that Beck is known for being a really, really nice and respectful person, but I guess he called Beck and he just sounded like he was really tired or annoyed, and he was talking to him and says, "Just go F off" or something like that. And then he hung up or something like that. But that sounded really out of character to him because I heard that Beck's like a really, really nice and respectful person in real life. There was one thing I heard that actually, believe it or not, sounds worse than the Sonic Youth one, but it says it on Wikipedia, but I can't find the thing anywhere. But I don't know if you know who Motley, well, obviously you know who Motley Crue is, but they're not really one of my favorites. They're not really one of my favorite groups. I'm not big on glam metal, but I heard that they chased him and the crew out and were trying to attack them or doing shit or something like that. Oh no, it was Quiet Riot. My bad. Quiet Riot chased Nardwuar and crew down the street. And Kid Cudi and Lil Uzi Vert left midway for an interview. But there are some people that there were some people that were like really, really like respectful and nice or whatever during the interview. Like I remember there was Pharrell Williams, like when he was interviewing him and all this stuff, he was talking about how impressed he was that he knew all these things about him and all this stuff. And he said, this is like one of the most professional and best interviews I've ever had in my life and all this stuff. He just seemed like he was really. And then I remember Ed Sheeran. I'm not that big on Ed Sheeran's music, but I remember he was interviewed by Nardwuar, and then supposedly after the backstage, he like said like, this is the best interview I've ever had in my life or something like that. I thought it was cool. Because Nardwuar, I don't know. I like watching his. He just seems like he's just a really cool interview guy because he gives them gifts and he just really, really just researches all the people, before talking to him. It's like he's a really cool guy, I think. Rollins and Maynard come over pretentious and a bit hipster, but they are nowhere near a douche that Gene Simmons and Axl Rose are. Yeah. I don't really know a whole lot about what Gene Simmons did, but I'm not like super big on Kiss. But I think they do good live. I think they're pretty good live, but not super big on their music. But they're okay. But yeah, I know Axl Rose was a big asshole though. He's not like one of my favorite vocalists either. Like he's definitely like. If they had a different vocalist, I probably would have liked Guns N' Roses a lot more than I do. I mean, I think they're decent, but I don't get people saying they're like one of the best groups ever. I don't agree with that. Pharrell Williams is an example of how to do an interview properly. Kid Cudi is the opposite. I haven't seen the Kid Cudi one, but I heard he walked out halfway through as well. Kid Cudi, I think he has like some really bad, like, I don't know, like, maybe I don't want to get into it, but he seems like he kind of struggles with depression, which is really unfortunate. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but that's too bad. Hope things get better for him. Kid Cudi walked out on the interview and left Nardwuar sad. He was hard to watch. I saw someone that said Lil Uzi Vert did too, and there was one thing. There was the Eric Andre interview, and I remember it was a bit cringy to watch, but I think he was only acting weird and all this stuff because that's just his character, But I feel like our Nardwuar was probably annoyed, but I think he probably knew what his character is that he plays and all this stuff. It was kind of funny to watch, but it was a bit cringy. But I don't know. I guess that's something you expect from Eric Andre because he's known for being annoying and weird and all that stuff to people and being interviewed and all that stuff. Mudhoney, huh? It's like, I forgot to mention, I recently got into Mudhoney. I'm not sure if you know who they are, but they're one of the earlier grunge bands from Seattle, and they're really good. I'd say they're one of the best in the genre. They did an EP, well, that's really good, and then they did this non-album single that's really good too, called "Don't Touch Me, I'm Sick." I think it's the name of it. Yeah. There's a super fuzz Big Muff EP, and then there's the compilation that has all the non-album singles on it. Eric Andre is one of my favorites. They constantly trying to out-weird each other. Yeah. I like the Tyler the Creator interview, by the way. I thought so. There was a Tyler the Creator one, and I just thought this was so cool. This was back when I think it was actually during Igor. I think actually is when this was. They were at this record shop basically, and Tyler is kind of like he's just known for his funny personality and all this stuff, and he doesn't really ask weird questions or anything like that. It seemed like, but he would say funny stuff occasionally though. His interviews are fun to watch. But anyway, so there's this one thing I thought was really cool. Is basically there was this one part where he looked over to the side and said, "Is that like whatever album by Stevie Wonder?" And he said, "What?" And they said he looked over and he just saw it by the spine, man. So he just pulled out the spine and the record, and he was like, "Yeah, that is it. That's cool." And he was like, "Well, you have a really good eye. How'd you know that?" And he said, I don't know. I just listened to one album and I try to listen to like one new album a day or something like that." He said, And then like he said, well, you can have that if you want. And he says, no, I actually have 2 copies at home, but thank you. I don't know. I thought that was really cool. Like he's clearly like a really smart person, knows a lot about music if he's going to be able to do that. Because I probably couldn't do that. 10 out of 10 thumbnails. Thank you, Myron. But the Tyler the Creator one's one of my favorites I interviewed. I mean, not interviewed, but it's one of my favorites I've seen. Interviews with non-musicians. Hip flip one. 10 out of 10 stream titles. Oh yeah. Hope you show us your Def Grips album collection. I guess I can. I pretty much own I own every single album by them except for Government Plates, pretty much. And the ex-military copy I own is a bootleg. I can't get the real copy of ex-military. It's too hard to find and too expensive. And the Government Plates one is even harder to find. Wonder how much. Let me look up steroids. I wonder how much steroids is now. I own steroids. I own the steroids EP. Oh, dude. Not as bad as the Government Plates one, but I'm glad I got it because it's $200 or so. You look up Government Plates. Of Government Plates I saw was like over 1,000 or something. Yeah, over 1,000. My gosh. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's definitely not something I'm going to get anytime soon. But there is I suppose there is the bootleg copy of it. But then again, I think the little license plate thing is pretty cool. Except I don't live in California though, so I don't know. Yeah, well, but I think the license plate thing's really cool. It comes with. I actually like the Government Plates album cover a lot, even though it's my least favorite they did. But I mean, I still think it's a good album. I just think it's their weakest, in my opinion. It's their weakest. But it has a lot of good songs on it, though. And there's a lot of people that like die-hard fans that really, really like it, but I still think it's a good release, though. I just don't like it as much as their other ones, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. I guess I can show you my Def Grips collection, I guess, at some point. I technically already did, though, because I do the record things. But I pretty much just own all their releases except for Government Plates. You might think he loves you for your money, but I know that he really loves you for your brand new Def Grips vinyl collection. Yes. I guess I'll say like I own the Bottomless Pit record. I own is the yellow vinyl, and the You're the Snitch is the green vinyl. By the way, I thought I'd mention that. I don't own Fashion Week or Interview 2016. By the way, I do not own that either. That's probably hard to find now too. I imagine I do not own those two either. I don't know. I just didn't feel like getting them because I don't really like them that much. I don't know. They're okay, but I'm not like super big on their instrumental stuff, I guess. But I think Interview 2016 is a lot better though. But I don't really like Fashion Week that much. See how much this one is. But it's not that bad, right? It's still kind of expensive though. But I would never get it. Personally, I would never get it. I kind of want them to make like Scum with Boundaries by the Isle Wise on vinyl, because that's a really good album. I guess it's technically Death Grips related because it's just Zach and Andy though, but I think that Scum with Boundaries is a really good album. I think I wouldn't say it would compete with like some of Death Grip's best stuff, but it's pretty good. I'd say it's better than Government Plates at the least. I'd say, well, it's definitely better than Government Plates in my eyes. But I don't think it's as good as Hold Your Horses by Hella, or you know. I think their other two releases though aren't really that great. I think Scum with Boundaries is the only one that I really, really like, and I think Bodyguard has like that Wash My Hands Shorty is a really good song, and the rest, I don't know. There's some good songs off of Bodyguard, but I think that's definitely their weakest in my opinion. And I don't really care for I've always been good at True Love, but Scum with Boundaries is great. I think Scum with Boundaries is absolutely great. It kind of sucks that Bodyguard's the only one that got a vinyl release when it's, in my opinion, the worst release they did. Sound of Ominous Lowell. What all have you guys been doing? Like any new movies you saw or anything interesting or anything like that? Oh, I meant to say the new Sufjan Stevens songs are really good. I don't know if you heard them, but it's going to be like a whole like movie themed album or something. All the songs are going to be a reference to a movie or something. But all the singles for it have been really, really good. I feel like it's gonna like once it's released, I feel like it's gonna like reach out with like some of his best stuff he's done. I personally think. And that new song Back to Oz is really good. Also, I just watched Natural Born Killers, and it's incredible and disturbing that movie was. I haven't seen that movie. I've heard of it though. I'll have to give it a shot when I can. I want to watch the new Suicide Squad movie because I really, really don't like the original one. I don't know. I guess I don't know if this is a continuation of it, but the first Suicide Squad movie, I absolutely hate. I really don't like it. But I heard the new one is actually really good. I've heard, and I get the reason I really don't like the original Suicide Squad is because the character designs are just so bad. But I don't know, just the plot's stupid too. But he's not a very good director. It's just really ugly and really ugly film to look at, and just boring plot and stupid, really bad looking costume designs and everything. But I don't know. I thought Birds of Prey was okay as well. I definitely thought it was improvement over Suicide Squad, though. Man, it wasn't like something I'd want to see a second time, though. It's on HBO Max, though. I might check it out. The new one, because I heard it's good. And a good recent DC movie, I'd have to see that. Well, I mean, Joker was good, too, but I don't know. I think I heard one new Sufjan song was all right. Have been listening to him more. Illinois and Karen Luau are good. The latter is a bit depressing. Need to be in the right headspace. Karen Luau is a masterpiece in my eyes. It's one of my favorite albums ever. I thought the new Sufjan songs were really good. Yeah, Jared Leto Joker is bad, but I prefer the Mark Hamill and Heath Ledger. Yeah, the Jared Leto as the Joker is really bad. He's a good actor, but him as the Joker is so freaking bad. But Heath Ledger, in my opinion, is definitely the best Joker. And then, although I do think, I like the movie, the 2019 Joker with, hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. I remember, Joaquin Phoenix. I'm sorry. It kind of just escaped my mind for a second. With Joaquin Phoenix, I thought he really did good, but I think like the more I really, really, really loved Joker when I first saw it, but the more I watched it, the more I just saw that it was basically just a copy of Taxi Driver. You know, the Martin Scorsese movie is just so similar to Taxi Driver. But I still think it's a good movie, I guess. It's really well shot, but I don't know. I feel like it's not the most original movie, but I think it's still pretty good. I mean, it's not like a complete copy of Taxi Driver, but it's very, very similar. The Taxi Driver influences are very, very, very obvious. If you've seen Taxi Driver, they're basically nearly the same movie. And Taxi Driver is one of my favorite films. So. But and also, Logan is actually really similar to a movie called Children of Men, but I don't think the similarity is that obvious, But Logan is really similar to Children of Men, which is a really good movie too. But yeah, I haven't seen either Suicide Squad, but the Joker in that movie looked really edgy and obnoxious. Such a downgrade from Ledger. Yeah, I don't understand why they make the Joker look like that, but Jared Leto's Joker was really bad. And Harley Quinn's look was really bad too. I'm really glad they changed Harley Quinn's look, but the Joker in it was really bad. His design was really bad. I actually like Harley Quinn's look in the new movie though. I'm trying to remember what was I going to look up. I don't know. Oh wait, okay. Mark Hamill. I remember. Wait. Oh, I get it. Okay, I think I've only seen one. I didn't know that he played the Joker. I didn't know that. That's cool. So he also plays Luke from Star Wars. That's interesting. So I didn't know that. I have seen one of the animated Batman movies recently. I forgot the name of it, but I remember. It's called, let me see here. Mask of the Phantasm. That's what it is. I've seen that one. That one's pretty good. Basically every teen girl on Halloween dressed up as 2019 Harley Quinn. You couldn't avoid it. Yeah, it was really stupid. I'm really glad people are done with that stupid suicide. I don't understand why people liked it so much. It was really bad. Did it really come out in 2019? No, it came out in 2016. I was gonna say. I don't think it came out in 2019. But yeah, I thought Suicide Squad, the original one, was awful. The new one has a 91%, which I think is interesting. I think I like superhero movies, though, when they're more, serious in my eyes. I mean, I love Into the Spider-Verse is my favorite superhero movie, I guess, but I think it's mainly because, it has a really good story, but it's also just so creative, and it's so pleasing to look at. It's funny, and the animation is, some of the best I've ever seen, ever. And it's just really, really, it's just really good. But I'd say probably The Dark Knight's probably my second favorite, and probably Logan, maybe Joker. And I think DC, in my opinion, is on some. I think DC's kind of picking back up though, because Joker was good, and now this new Suicide Squad movie is good. From what I know, I'll have to see it. I'm probably going to watch it maybe Saturday or something. But let's see. But Marvel, I think, is really doing good, because I think the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, I think, are pretty good, and I don't think they're as good as Dark Knight or Into the Spider-Verse or Logan or Joker, but I think they're pretty good. Like the Infinity Wars, the Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, I thought were really good, and Thor Ragnarok, I thought was really good. I hate superhero movies because they're so generic and get released every month, but Spider-Verse is a breath of fresh air. Yeah, I can see that. I can see people not liking them, but I don't know. I like some of them. I like them for the most part. There's definitely some I don't like, but I think a lot of movies DC has been doing recently are crap, in my opinion. And I'm not I wouldn't say that every single one of the movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies are good, but I think they're pretty good. I do think I do think a lot of the jokes they do are kind of dumb a lot of the time though, but yeah, it's all right. I don't feel like I don't know. I feel like definitely the weakest point in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is definitely the humor in my eyes. So I don't know. I feel like a lot of the jokes they make aren't that funny, in my opinion, at least. But I think Thor Ragnarok I thought was pretty funny at times though. I don't know, that's just me. Anything else that you guys want to talk about? Ever listened to True by Danny Elfman and Trent Reznor? I haven't listened to it, but I know it exists. I saw it in my recommended on YouTube. I have not given it a listen yet though, but I'm thinking of checking it out when I can though. I don't think the all movies are bad. I don't even think the movies are bad. It's just that most of it is connected, so the fans watch everything, keeping the franchise alive. It's genius marketing, though. Yeah, I can see what you mean. I would say definitely a lot of them are basically made because they know it sells well. But that doesn't mean, I guess, yeah, I can see what you mean. There's definitely some that just do it because they know it sells well. But I'm sure that there's definitely ones that still know they want to make something great, something memorable and all that stuff, you know? Like the thing with, I guess, for instance, Christopher Nolan did the Dark Knight series not because he knew that it would sell well because it's Batman, but just because he was a really, really big fan of the Batman comics and all that stuff. And he made a really, really great. I mean, the third one was not as good, but it's still good. The first one was good, but the second one was amazing. But he succeeded in doing that because he's just a really big, Batman fan. And I'm assuming that people who made Into the Spider-Verse are probably really big fans of Spider-Man too, I'd imagine. I think the best Christopher Nolan movie, though, is definitely Memento in my eyes. I don't know if you guys have seen Memento, but if you haven't seen Memento, I definitely watch it. It's free to watch on Amazon right now. It's also on Tubi. It's really good. It's my favorite Nolan film. I like Christian Bale's Batman, but I don't like the DCEU movies. Like DC. Wait, hold on. DCEU. I'm trying to remember what that. DC Extended Universe. Yeah, the DC movie. These new DC movies are not good at all. I don't think they're not good. I think Wonder Woman was the most decent out of them all, but it wasn't that great either. I think it got good reviews, but I didn't really like it that much, personally. And then there's that new, there's the Snyder cut of the, the Justice League, and it's 4 hours long. No, thank you. No. I'm not going to watch 4 hours of that crap. I heard it was better than the original one, but I don't want to watch it. I'm not going to give that a shot. I'm not watching a 4 hour long DC movie. Been really thinking The Fragile and With Teeth recently. I mean, really liking The Fragile and With Teeth recently. I think Trent got a really good atmosphere and mood going on those albums. The title track of Fragile and Right Where It Belongs are great. The Fragile's my favorite release he did. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. With Teeth is good, but I think they have better releases in my opinion. I'd personally say With Teeth I think it's a good album, but I think it's one of his weaker albums. Maybe not one of his all-time weaker, but I don't think it's as good as. There's several albums I like more than that. I enjoy my favorite. If I were to rank them, I'd say The Fragile, Downward Spiral. Let's see, Broken. Pretty Hate Machine, then probably Bad Witch, and then probably Add Violence, not the actual events, Year Zero, then With Teeth, probably, then probably Ghosts, then Hesitation Mark, and then probably, actually, no, I'd probably say the Ghosts 1 through 5, probably before With Teeth, and then With Teeth, and then probably Ghosts, the rest of the Ghosts, and then probably, Ghosts, whatever it is. The two recent Ghosts they did, the Ghosts like Locust and whatever the other one's called. Ghosts 5 and 6, I think is what it is. But anyway, and then probably With Teeth, and then probably Ghosts, and then probably Hesitation Marks, and then probably The Slip. Better to say. But yeah, Right Where It Belongs is a great song. That's really a great closer. Zero Sum is a really great closer too. And Fragile, every song off the Fragile is good. Every song off the Fragile is good. First two are classic, but I don't put them on as often as these others two. It's also personal taste. I gotcha. We can agree on the Fragile though. Yeah, it's cool. But Trent Reznor is 9 Inch Nails is actually a pretty consistent group, I think. Especially is what he's been doing recently. I wouldn't say it compares with his first releases, but they're really good. He's really consistent artist, I believe. In my opinion, I think he's really consistent. They are. Trent has never really made a bad album. Yeah, he hasn't. The Slip, I think, is the closest he did to a bad album. There's some songs I don't like off the Slip, but for the most part, it's decent. I don't know. The Slip is Slip's okay. I sort of like it, but it's. Ever watched The Social Network? I have not watched The Social Network, although I have listened to the soundtrack, though. The soundtrack is really good. I have not seen The Social Network, though, but I do plan on watching it at some point. But I have listened to the soundtrack, and the soundtrack's really good. It's actually probably my favorite soundtrack that Trent has done. Probably. I do love David Fincher, though. David Fincher directed it, and I love David Fincher. He's one of my favorite directors. Like Fight Club and Zodiac and Seven and Gone Girl, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and all that stuff. It's pretty eerie. Songwriting is weak, but still got a good atmosphere around it. I got you. He kind of went in a more like electronic and industrial rock direction at that point. It was kind of abandoning the metal kind of sound, but then he brought it back on, not the actual events. Then Add Violence kind of had a more experimental sound and had a bit of a like electronic and noise kind of sound to it. And then Bad Witches had some jazz elements and some like it kind of reminded me a bit of Black Star by David Bowie a little bit. It was probably inspired by that. Fincher is one of the best directors. Yeah, he is. The first movie he directed was Alien 3, which is interesting because I haven't seen it. It's a lot of people say only the first 2 Alien movies are good. So Alien 3, logically, it's not really a very highly praised movie. But I wonder if people were thinking, anyone think that this guy, David Fincher, who directed Alien 3, even though I didn't like it, is going to be like one of the best directors of the 90s and 2000s? People say, no, why would you think that? No, I don't know. One thing that's kind of weird is so many people have seen David Fincher's movies. Like, pretty much everyone has probably seen at least one David Fincher movie, but nobody really knows not a lot of people really know who David Fincher is, even though they watch so many movies that he directed, Like my mom really loves the movie Seven. She's seen Gone Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and Gone Girl and all that stuff, but she doesn't know who David Fincher is. Or my dad likes a lot of David Fincher movies too, like Fight Club and probably Seven, and he likes like he likes one called The Game, which I didn't really think it was that great. I don't think it was as good as some other ones, but he doesn't know who David Fincher is either. So I kind of wish, I don't know why that is, because he pretty much everyone knows about his movies, but people don't really know him by name. And I'm not sure why that is. I wish it wasn't that way. Who knows? Yeah, that's all right. Oh well. There's probably a lot of directors that people don't really know by name, though. Ever heard of the movie Boondock Saints? I have not. I have not heard of that. It's free to watch on Amazon, dude. Okay. It has Willem Dafoe in it. Norman Reedus. Oh wait, Norman Reedus, the guy who plays, what's his name? One guy from Walking Dead. Forgot what it is. Bob Marley's in it. Huh. That's interesting. Oh no, that's not the same Bob Marley. That's not the same Bob Marley. That's some guy who has the same name for some reason. All right. Yeah, Daryl from The Walking Dead. Yeah, I should know that because I live in Georgia, which is where it's shot. Although I'm not originally from Georgia, I'm originally from Iowa. Anything else been going on with you guys recently? Do you have a favorite scene from Fight Club? Oh, there's so many good scenes. My favorite scene might be, I don't want to spoil it, but when the main character finds out the plot twist, I guess I like that scene a lot. But also the scene at the end where him and Marla are holding hands and the buildings are exploding. It's a really pretty scene. But I also, for some reason, I don't know why, but I like the scene where he goes into the store and like takes the guy out or whatever and like tries to like takes out his wallet and then he says like asks him what he wants to be and all this stuff and he says like he has a gun to his head. He says he wants to be a veterinarian. Then he says like if you're not on your way to being a veterinarian in the next 2 months, I will find you and I will kill you or whatever. He said you will be dead. I don't know. That scene was interesting. It's like motivational but really weird and dark or something. I don't know. Not much, just trying to find moody pieces. Hence why I brought up those albums. I got you. Fight Club only has a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's really surprising. Edward Norton finds out he is Tyler, Brad Pitt. Yeah, that's the spoiler, man. Why you gotta spoil it like that? I mean, I read it out, so I guess people know now. You don't want to know the spoiler though. Yes, if you know the spoiler in Fight Club, then it's a bad thing. Then you won't be surprised when you see it. It's all right. It's all right, Rudy. It's all right. But Fight Club's great. It's one of my favorite movies. Well, maybe not in my top 10, but probably in my top 20 or so. I think it's very good. It's definitely my favorite Brad Pitt movie. This dog is barking downstairs. Rip L. Spoiler. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Favorite track from Steroids EP by Def Grips? Well, it's a bit hard to do because none of the songs have actual titles, though. But probably the last one, the "And I'll Move with It" or what Panel Movement or whatever it's called, or State of Drugs or whatever you call it. But and there's that Bald Headed Girl is a really good one, and the first song is pretty good. The My Whole Life, My Whole Fucking Life, My Whole Life, My Whole Fucking Life. That one's pretty good, and Bald Headed Girl is really good. Like every song, there's not really a song off of it I really dislike. But I guess it's all just one mix. None of the songs have titles, though. Been enjoying Ghost in the Shell original soundtrack. Floating Museum is a really cool song. I have not listened to that soundtrack on its own, but I have seen the movie. I actually watched the movie again a couple days ago, actually. It's really good. It's one of my favorite anime, I'd probably say. Ghost in the Shell is pretty good. So I technically have listened to the soundtrack, but I've not listened to it on my own. On its own, though. Maybe I'll do that at some point. But the anime is really good. Brilliant movie if you should pick up the soundtrack if you like ambient music. I do like ambient music. Maybe I'll do it. I've only seen the first Ghost in the Shell movie, by the way. The 1995 one is the only one I've seen. One anime I want to watch is Cowboy Bebop. I haven't watched that one yet. I want to see it at some point. I heard it's good. It's kind of like a space opera or something like that, I've heard. I listened to the soundtrack, actually, a lot of times, though. The soundtrack's really good. I just haven't seen the anime. Like another anime that has a really good soundtrack I haven't watched is FLCL, like Fooly Cooly. It's a really, really good soundtrack, but I haven't watched the anime, though. 1 second, I'll be right back. I use the bathroom. And I'm back. It reminds me a lot of the Silent Hill 2 original soundtrack. That album used to be number 1 on the ambient charts, but now they think Low by Bowie is ambient, so it got dethroned. Yeah, the Silent Hill 2 soundtrack's really good. The game's really good, too. The soundtrack at Silent Hill is really good. That's actually one of my favorite video game soundtracks, actually. Really? Was it really number one for ambient music? Huh. It'll probably change because it probably got voted off on or something. I don't know. That surprises me because I would think it would count selected ambient works. It doesn't count ambient techno as a ambient genre, huh? Or why? It's literally called ambient techno. One of the best video game soundtracks for sure. Persona 5 and Nier soundtrack are also quite good. I can listen to a Persona 5 soundtrack once, but it's been a long time since I listened to it though. But I remember liking it though. But Silent Hill 2 was number one for a while. Yeah. Ever watched Django Unchained? I have. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good movie. I'd say it's probably my favorite out of his like really recent stuff. If you were to count Inglourious Basterds, that would be my favorite one. But Django Unchained is pretty good. It's a pretty good movie. It's quite long though. I think it's like 3 hours long or so. Second ambient works is ambient techno. That's a different genre. Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of consider it. I know it's ambient techno, but I don't know. I kind of consider that to still be kind of like ambient. I guess I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Like Volume 2, though, it could definitely be classified as ambient, I think, though. And I don't know. I guess for some reason it makes more sense for ambient techno to be released under as ambient, but not as much for something like ambient pop to me, I guess, for some reason. I don't know why. Wrong. It's also ambient. You're not wrong, but it doesn't show up when you go on the ambient charts, just ambient electronic releases. I got you. Like, I wouldn't really consider ambient pop to really be ambient in my eyes. I don't know. Maybe it's just because when I think of ambient stuff, I think of it being instrumental. And I know it's not always like that, but that's mainly what I think of. A lot of the time, ambient techno is instrumental. Like selected ambient works is instrumental. No, it's just me, I guess. All right, I'm going to end the stream soon, by the way, guys, just letting you know. I totally agree with you. They could put Aphex on it one day, but it got on, so who knows? Yeah. They're probably going to take it down. I'm assuming probably someone voted ambient on it before it charted. And it doesn't have ambient as the genre tag anymore, so probably when the chart updates again, it's probably not going to be on there anymore, I'd imagine. All right, anyways, now I'm going to end the stream now. It was a good time talking to you guys. Excited to see you guys next time. Have a good night. Bye.